Hello, today I welcome you to my world of watches, and in this video I'm going to show you pretty much everything about this Steeldive SD1975. Let's see what it's all about. So even though there are quite a few reviews on this watch on YouTube, I decided to make a video with my spin on it for one reason and one reason only, and that is because of the color of the dial. There are not many reviews on YouTube with this yellow dial, so I decided to make my video and show it to you. I really hope that I will be able to show the whole beauty of this dial. It's truly amazing. I just cannot get enough of this watch. I constantly find myself putting this on wherever I can, and it's just truly amazing. Steeldive is now very well known, and I think this watch needs coverage. So let's see the watch. Before I talk about the dial and design, let's dissect this watch bit by bit. Firstly, it comes in a well-known black plastic case, probably very cost-effective for the company and very safe for the customer as well. Squishy material protects the watch, and I often use mine to carry my watches when traveling. Inside there are the basic stuff: instructions manual, warranty card, the spring bar tool, and also a bracelet sizing tool. So all in all, everything you need to get your watch on wrist, so very nice. I also got a yellow silicone strap, which I'll talk about later, but it's because I bought a bundle, which was the watch and this band. I'll throw it on a little bit later, and that's pretty much it for the packaging. Now let's talk about the size, and I can say upfront that this is a big heavy watch, definitely not for a small wrist. If you weigh like 120 and you'll try to take a dive, there is a high chance that you'll go to the bottom with this watch. It's like an anchor. I weigh 190 and I'm 6'5", and even for me it is big. The case itself is 47.5 millimeters in diameter, but it narrows up towards the bezel, and the bezel is 41 millimeters in diameter. Compared to the diameter, it actually has quite a decent lug-to-lug size at 45 millimeters. It's 15 millimeters thick, has 22 millimeter lug width, and sized up for my 7-inch wrist, it weighs 190 grams. Here you can see it on my wrist. As you can see, it probably won't go under a cuff of your shirt if you decide to wear this one to a wedding. There's no way of not feeling this watch. When you're naturally swinging your arms when walking, you can kind of feel it pulling down your arm just a little bit. Nevertheless, due to the comparatively small lug-to-lug, the watch sits comfortably on wrist. Now the bracelet is another place where a lot of different opinions of people collide. There are actually quite a few different options to go for, including silicone, shark mesh, kind of a 3-link one, or an engineer bracelet, which I opted for, and to be fair, I couldn't be happier that I picked this one. For me, it looks and feels just great. The edges are rounded so they don't cut your wrist. It does not plug hairs, it has brushed finish on top and polishing on the sides. It works just great with this watch in my eyes. There is also a branded folded metal clasp with 3 micro adjustments, which I quickly changed to a proper milled clasp. The bracelet doesn't taper, so it has a 22 millimeter clasp. I will leave the link in the description down below if you want to pick this one up. A bit harsh on the edges, but definitely a huge improvement, and it has way more micro adjustment holes. Now, as I've said, I purchased a bundle, so I got a yellow silicone strap as well, and it's great because I couldn't find any yellow silicone straps on AliExpress. This strap has very interesting design with bunch of holes, which not only looks cool but also lets the wrist breathe. And they really made sure you know who made the strap. There's a Steeldive logo on the end of the strap. There are also branded keepers, and the big stainless steel clasp is also signed. The strap itself is soft and comfortable. It also works great with this watch, and it reduces a lot of weight from it. The case back is screwed down, giving this watch 300 meters of water resistance. By the way, I've already taken it to the water and it survived a light swim in a lake just fine. The case back is very nicely engraved with a very well known Steeldive logo, which for some reason for me associates with something hazardous, when in reality it's just diver's glasses, 2 oxygen tanks, and 2 cross diver fins, I do believe they are called. Even though this is the part of the watch you see the least, it's done beautifully. It also hides a true workhorse of a movement, the Seiko NH35A with 21 joules, hacking and hand winding, and also 41 hours of power reserve. There's really not much to say apart from that it is a great worked out movement which will serve you for a very long time. Now the case shape is, well, it's shaped like a tuna can, hence the nickname Tuna. There is this outer layer which I believe serves as a case and bezel protector. It is screwed by these 3 screws on the sides, and I think you can actually take it off if needed. And at the 4 o'clock the crown is located. The finishing on the outer case is rather simple, finely brushed, and then the screws are polished. The crown is again nicely finished with the Steeldive logo, again a subtle touch that makes a difference, to me at least. And another thing that I do really like is that the lugs are very short and the end of the strap will usually be covered with the case, which means that pretty much any straight end strap will look good on this watch and you wouldn't be able to see your wrist through the gap like on other watches. The bezel is, well, it's something. Probably no surprise that it is not aligned with the chapter ring, but again, they are trying to resemble Seiko as much as possible. The grip is very nice and it turns as butter, 120 click unidirectional ceramic and also very nicely lumed. Let me say this up front that the lume color doesn't match. The bezel has blue lume and the indices are green. For me personally, it's not a big deal, but I've seen people complaining online and that is something to consider. You get a sapphire crystal which is slightly domed. I tested it with the diamond selector tool and it reads positive. You can also get a diamond selector tool, I think you should actually, so the link is down in the description. And as always, the biggest star of the show, the dial, which is in fact not yellow but rather goldish color. It has a beautiful sunburst effect and I noticed that it plays with the light in pretty much any lighting situation. Even in the dim light you can see the lines going around the dial. On most of the sunburst dials that I've had in my hands, the effect disappears if there is no proper lighting. The chapter ring on the other hand is a pale yellow color, so it leans more towards the color of the strap rather than the dial, so there are differences between the two but it doesn't really stand out that much. The indices are covered in C3 lume, that's what the listing claims at least, and I found an article that says it is 5% brighter than the BGW9 and it is very bright. Appears right when you step into a shadow, although I expected it to last a little bit longer. Maybe it's just for me, but it does fade quickly. It doesn't fade completely and it is visible nevertheless, unlike some of the watches that I've held that completely lose their lume. Due to the lume color, the indices and the hands are not white but rather yellowish in color. The hands are arrow shaped and you can kind of see the harsh surface. It seems like they went through them with 60 grit. They are lumed just as well as the indices though. The bottom half of the seconds hand is black, which nicely matches the bezel and the writings. Then there is a date window at 3 o'clock, which I do really like, even though the white window does not match any color on the watch. It is practical and that's what I like. Then lastly, there are the writings of Steeldive and the logo, and then the Marine Engineer rather than Marine Master like it is on the Seiko Tuna, so I guess they changed something. Let's talk about the watch itself. During my time here in Malta, I've been wearing this one for most of the time and I have to tell you that it is a very lovely watch, very bright and colorful, especially with the yellow strap on. Even though I am a stainless steel strap guy, the silicone strap just makes it much more comfortable and better for everyday use. The strap makes it much more easy to wear every day and also gives a little bit more color to it. Me, who often likes to match things on my outfit with my watch, it is especially nice that you have this silicone strap option. Even though it is a very big watch, with the silicone strap it looks way more subtle and smaller, and I just get a very good feeling when wearing this watch. I don't know why. When I put it on, it just makes me feel uplifted. I think it is the color, but somehow it just clicks with me. So there you go, here are my thoughts on this beautiful Steeldive SD1975 aka Tuna Homage, and I think it's worth every single penny. Would I recommend it? Definitely yes, if you can get a good price on it. It is bright and colorful, and if you don't like the bright colors, you can always go for the old black dial version. These watches are spec monsters and I think they're worth every single penny. They also introduced quite a few new colors like the Tiffany blue I believe, so again, to reach more people. If you're interested, the link is in the description down below, and as always, if you like my video, please leave a like and also consider subscribing and hitting that little bell so you'll get notified when I upload a new video. And now thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.